Hello, and welcome to this session on strategy design pattern. This video is part of a 20 hours Udemy course where we cover hundreds of real-world design pattern scenarios. Let's look at what strategy design pattern is. The strategy design pattern is a behavioral design pattern that allows you to define a family of algorithms, encapsulate each one as a separate class, and make them interchangeable. It enables the algorithm to vary independently from the client that use them, allowing runtime selection of the algorithm based on the specific requirements. The main idea behind the strategy pattern is to encapsulate a group of algorithms and provide a common interface for them. This interface defines a set of methods or operations that the algorithm must implement. The client code can then utilize this algorithm by interacting with the common interface without knowing the specific implementation details of each algorithm. By encapsulating the algorithm in separate classes, the strategy pattern promotes code reuse, improves maintainability, and allows for easy extension. It also enables the selection of the algorithm dynamically at runtime, providing flexibility and the ability to switch between different strategies without modifying the client code. Hello and welcome back. Let's take a look at an example code that explains the strategy design pattern. Implementing a strategy requires about three main classes, and this includes the strategy class, which is the abstract interface that defines how all the strategies will be implemented. Then, of course, we have the strategy, which is the concrete implementation of the abstract strategy. It contains the algorithm or the strategies that needs to be implemented. Now we have the context. The context is the code that uses a strategy. It invokes the algorithm for a particular business logic or a behavior that needs an algorithm or a strategy to implement. And of course, the usage is where we show how the implementation is done. The context is responsible for invoking the algorithm through the strategy interface without knowing the specific implementation details of the chosen strategy. Let's start with implementing the abstract interface. We're going to call it strategy, and then it's going to be implementing an operation. And then now we also have its concrete classes. We have concrete strategy 1, and then we also do another concrete strategy. Basically, these are like the algorithms or the strategy that the context will use to work. Now let's implement a context. A context on instantiation will take in a strategy, and then you use the method execute strategy to execute the operation method of whatever strategy that you have entered here. And it's that simple. Let's have two strategies. We have strategy 1 and strategy 2. We'll also instantiate a context, and in the context, we're going to pass in one of the strategies, strategy 1, and then run this context execute strategy method. It's now going to execute this strategy, calling the operation method of the strategy that we have here. Let's take a look at the output code, and you can see right here it executed the strategy 1 operation. It printed out executing concrete strategy 1. And we can also pass another strategy to the strategy instance and then call its execute strategy method. The context execute strategy method, as you can see here, will call the passed in strategy, which is strategy 2 operation method. And the operation method is what print out the output executing concrete strategy 2. As you can see here, concrete strategy 2 operation method print out this information. The strategy design pattern helps us to implement different strategies or algorithm on a context or on a business logic, using its own method to call the operations of the algorithm or strategy without knowing specifically which operation or strategy it's calling. This video is part of a 20 hours Udemy course where we cover hundreds of real-world design pattern scenarios. The course is called Design Pattern in Python with Real-World Code Examples. We showed via practical coding how design pattern is implemented in real-world scenarios like event manager, cache, database connection codes, document management code, creating optimized configuration settings, login frameworks, GUI framework codes, plugin systems, game development codes, payment gateway, document generators, computer graphics generation codes, financial model code pattern, resource pooling, object pooling in ORMs, website creation, database query codes, language translator, web application framework creation, banking system codes, organizational chart creation, file system, interpreter, menu system, text formatting code, authentication code, authorization code, API for OS, document management system, create proxies, event handling, middleware in web development, workflow system, undo redo functionality in apps, job scheduler scenarios, parsers, chart applications, drawing applications, notification system, distributed system, booking system, workflow management system, sorting algorithm, file compression utility, and many more. If you are really serious about your career in programming, you have to get this video. And you don't have to be a Python programmer to use it. Use the link in the description to get the best price for this course on the Udemy platform.